Hello, Rodrigo. Hello. So, how we can find out when we need unique textures and how we need tileable, when we need tileable textures. So, we discuss a little bit about textile density, right? Imagine I take monkey. So then I will add subdivision, shade smooth. So we have a good looking asset. And now if I go to UV editing, so this is how it's mapped. Okay, so unique. Okay. And I go to textile density add-on in my MX everywhere it's there, okay, which we use. It's a free add-on, you can download it. So this one is 2 meter, right? 2.5 meter, 1.5 and 2 meter almost. Okay, so it's a big asset. So if I come here and if I say like we have texture size of 4K, okay, if I calculate, this is giving me 14 pixel per centimeter, which is more than 1K. You can imagine we are going with 1K per meter textile density. So this is good enough. Okay, so with a 4K. But imagine we don't want to use 4K. We want to use only 2K. It's went to 7. So with that, what we can do at this stage is basically maybe overlap. Okay, so we can take one eye, overlap it on other, take one side, overlap it on another half. We definitely saved a lot of space and we're gonna get a lot more. So if I imagine I can simply delete it. So now if you see we have half. I will select and I will we have UV packer also. We will pack it simply without worry too much. And now I calculate, yeah. So it's 9.5 now, almost 1K, right? So this is if we pack it much better and more looking at it and try to fit more in there, then we might get a little bit more better. You so almost 9.8. So like we improved a little bit. Okay, so like that you can get. Now we just mirror it. So we still handle it. But what if we have more bigger prop? We cannot fit it inside the UV space, and we have. Let me see how Rodrigo's assets look. So Sami, if you're still here, what I was talking about here is basically you can. Oh, there is a space behind here. Oh, okay. I I thought there is no space here. That's weird. Like I felt like in your concept there was no space here. What I was saying, like you can take this platform and then you can make a space here to get to this place. So now you have a from here to here you have a space basically going there. But imagine like you have some stuff like this which you want to, and we definitely cannot fit them in unique space. So now our and it is longer also, which is if I calculate these, very small. What? Well, it's scale we have to apply. And why? Let's not use that. We got all these, and we calculate. We got very less. And even if we come and we say let's overlap all of them and scale, and there is not fit to bound. Like imagine like we manually scale, we fit it to the bounds top to bottom, and we still calculate that density. It's still 1 point. It's still very less. So our best option is to scale it. Okay. And if I calculate, we got it, but it is really tall. So this is where like our trim or tileable textures comes in. So basically, what you can do, you can do it in the form of trims, not exactly the trims as you're supposed to be, but basically some different textures tiling horizontally, not vertically. Like imagine you have wood, metal, and painted wood or rusted metal, basically. So for the grids and everything. So what you can do, you can map like these like point these two grids have wood, these two we have broken wood, these two you have metal, and this you have rust. And at some point what you can do, you can make three gradient also, like painted and then slowly some rusted and then fully rusted. I did that once with the one asset where you need this detail at the bottom where it's more damage and then it's not. So what I did in the tileable texture, the half top I kept fully clean and then I made a gradient basically. So whenever I needed at the bottom, like imagine here I needed a bottom. So I divided into three. So the whole texture was mapped like this, but this face was mapped on the area here as well. So that helps define the tileable and the detail where we want to. So now, so whenever you have larger set which you cannot fit inside a unique texture or any prop basically, then you need to use tileable textures. And not always you need to use the tileable texture. Imagine like you have why I'm sharing this gradient technique is memory reasons, right? So imagine you if you need to blend it up, then you need a tileable texture which is fully clean, tileable texture which is half damage, or maybe a third texture which is like more damage. And then to blend that you need noise masks. And then it's like bunch of textures now, bunch of texture sets which you can do with single texture set also. Again, that's like some memory technique which I showed you, but you don't need to. It's your personal scene, you can use as many tileable texture you want, and games usually have hundreds of tileable textures, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But if it's like one asset needs some unique tileable textures, we need to be creative. We can't give every asset a really unique textures unless it's a hero prop. Yeah, so then it's a different thing, but we need to be careful. Now imagine we have this is the raw catalog which we found uh, last session. Wonderful, have materials perfectly perfect. So if I search wood, you have wood chipper which is awesome, and then you have bunch of others like this is old wood type of. So this is like they are saying also like it's 1 by 1 meter, which is good. It's 0.5, which is really small compared to what we need. But we can go. Like, it's like 1K per meter. We only so that's when another thing which I can say, like, so when you create the textures as a material artist, someone. So if we have textures like 1K per meter, then it matters a lot because we are matching our UVs based on this textile density. Our textures need to match that as well. So we can download this. Okay. So we get to Blender. Yeah, I asked, promise to send the box map also, right? Right? Or just remember. Okay, good, good. Let me see if I have box mapping installed. I'll send in there. It's not there. Okay. So let's see if they have by default it. No, I don't think it's there. So let me install it. Just give me a second. I will send it in the chat. I remember last time also uh, asked. Okay, so this is order box. Okay, so it just simply give you this tiny add-on. So what it does, if I no, so it's basically the textile density is defined by you, okay, or by the team or by the project. So if it is 1K, then we used to use 512, right? And now we use 1K, and even some people might use more. And I've seen many people don't even care about it. In foliage, definitely nobody care about it, but I do. And people make scale up things anyway to any size, which is not good. So let me just quickly get it here. I'll show you. So this one, with diffuse. Right, see this one. This is 4K. Okay. This is 4K texture size. Okay. And if we say texture density 4K per meter, sorry, 1K per meter, that means if we have 4K texture, that should cover 4 meter of surface in a logical mathematics sense. And this is 1 meter, as they said, right? This is 1 meter surface in the real world. So if we want to export it exactly as per our textile density, then actual size should be 1K, 1024 by 1024. That's what we should export if we don't want to alter anything in this. That should be completely as per the textile density. So if and by the way, if you don't know Irfan view, best. Okay. If you do half of the stuff which Photoshop you need Photoshop for, like imagine you need to invert the channel. So here you can invert the green channel and save it as a gain. And it if you need to change some color, some adjustment, you can do it here too. So you don't need Photoshop. I love everything. So a bunch of stuff, just basic macros, you can do it in this tool. So here you can save basically. Okay, this is here, and then you can press S to save, and you save it, and then you do the same thing with the. So tell me, do you know how to find out what is OpenGL and what is DirectX? Do you guys know how to figure out? Like, if you don't know, just let me know. I will explain how can you can easily find and differentiate between the two. Because I was confused in the start, so I don't assume anything that everybody knows. So just I'm gonna save these two. So this is now 1K texture and it covers 1 meter surface. That's why 1K per meter is fine. So if we gonna export 2K map, then this should be tiling twice basically. So we can keep the same thing but tile it twice. Then we export the 2K map. Then by 1K per meter texture density, this can justify its size, real world size. Okay. So go to base color, go here, you know. Now you see you have your thing here. Okay, so this is help you in the blockout side also when you need to quickly get the things done. So you come to your tool and you select it and you create six. Six is fine. Okay, 10 sides is too much. You click and it did something. Okay. It created this cube which act as a projection for your things. So now we know how many are there. Like it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 planks which are 1 meter. Okay. So now here how many we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 almost. Okay. Which is 1.5 meter. Is it? Is it? There is. Let me rotation here. It's 3 meter. So if it's 3 meters, so technically this should cover 15 planks. This should show 15 planks in there. So first I'm gonna do, so that's why, because it's a 2 meter, basically it's 2 meters sphere, basically, you can imagine. Right? It's 100, it says 100, but it usually is there. So I will scale it 0.5. Now you will see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. Now that's where the magic begins. So you select all your horizontal assets, whichever you project, and you need to assign the material. I select we'll select everything. Select this link materials, and why didn't? Okay, that's how it's more. You see, now everything will have similar UV. Select this projection, this one, and you just click and done. And this one is because it's a projection, and what you can do, one thing you can do here is you can rotate this one. So rotate Z90. This will not matter, but we, okay, these are also aligning. Okay, same for this. So you have basically all the woodens basically applied. I should have basically selected everything. And if anything not matching, then you have to duplicate and assign that one. It's a bit tricky. It gets what it does in the behind the scene. It create this UV project and assign these arrows. So inside these you have these empties, which is using to direct. So if you duplicate, you can basically duplicate this whole setup and use it as separately. Like imagine you have this in different direction, because here it's not going to align. because it's a quick mapping. So, but when you have block out, you want to test your tileable textures on top of your assets, simply do this. Okay. As it was like 1K, if you have 2K texture, I think it would have fit perfectly on it without any scaling in the cube. But that's how you can basically find out how much you need. And now that's the fun part again. This, as I said, we did this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take gradient, let's say, and this is the same thing we do in the Unreal. And oh, where is it? Oh, fuck. Where's it? Where's the mapping? Where's the mapping here? There is. That I don't. There is mapping. Okay, so now we can basically play with the gradient, like how it is. We can play with it. Normally it is there. Or I'm just overdoing it. Wait, I'm overdoing it. Let's simplify it. And I will take a noise. Okay. And I'm gonna sign it here and I'm gonna say multiply. So now our would have some detail, okay, which you want to control basically. So I'm coming to vertex blending. So this is the technique. First thing we're gonna talk about is the vertex blending. Okay. So okay, Chaos asks, you don't, so I would love the explanation. Okay. So that the best and quickest way to find out is looking at the detail. Okay, so if you look at the same data, like imagine the dent. Okay. So to figure out, when you look at some details, maybe there will be bolts, or this is definitely a chip off. This is definitely a crack. So the cracks always go inward. Okay, so that you have to remember which direction the detail is. The screws comes outward, and the dents and the cracks go inwards. So now, if I zoom in here and zoom in the same place here, right? You see where the light is falling. Okay, so if I go to image, show channel green, and in this also I can show channel green. You see, what is the difference? One is here you see the light is kind of looking like coming from the bottom. Here it's looking like light is coming from the top. Okay. So if I look at this edge, you see the light is on the bottom plank. That means some light is on the top and falling down on there. And here is the bottom, from the bottom. So basically, this helps normal map understand understand how to basically do the thing. And there are two main channels in the normal map. You have green channel, okay, which is right to left. It will be same in both type of normal map, whether it is OpenGL, whether it is DirectX. It will be same from it will be right to left. It will always look like imagine we had this crack. No? So see, so the light is on the left side of the cracks. That means it look like a moon surface. Like if you if you look at this such a way. So light is falling in this side, so that will be same on both sides. The what matter is what is green channel. So this helps the rendering engine to basically fake the detail and how to bend the light on top of the surface, right? So whenever you have OpenGL or DirectX, you will see the details look wrong, basically, right? So if imagine we have OpenGL here because Blender is the rendering engine. All real-time engines use DirectX, which is like bottom to top lighting, but there is there. So I'm gonna bring DirectX. So I will just plug it in this, or we have another thing which should be non-color. Silly mistake. Just remember in your thing also. Like I will zoom in close and I'm going to show you. Okay. So I'm gonna make it larger. I'm gonna put this. See, something happened. So something when you will have light falling on top of it, the roughness. Okay, when you have a light, it's gonna look off. So your shading might not be correct. It's gonna impact your shading. It's gonna impact if your shading is getting fixed by the normal map. It's gonna impact that. It's gonna look wrong. It's gonna shade opposite. Basically, try to mimic like it because you have inverted normal map. It system gonna think that this is the top side. So even if your light is from top, it's gonna create highlight at the bottom. Yes, yes, yes. So we always have in Unreal we have this tiny checkbox in the texture section to invert the channel. But it's good to know basically, right? Well, someone can ask you in the interview and about this, and you're like, what? And I don't know. And people can ask you why you invert the green channel. So that's you can explain because we if we have OpenGL or DirectX, and then they go, what is OpenGL? And so this can help basically. So this helps with the rendering, and that's how you just look at the uh, texture and you see where the light is coming from. Yeah. If it's like from bottom, direct text. If it's from the top, it is OpenGL. Simply, that's basically this green neon highlight only you have to look at. And if you understand this, and you're gonna see if you see red from the bottom, you're gonna say this normal is messed up. This is not usable. Something is wrong because imagine like you use like we did the leaves yesterday. If you know, not yesterday, the last session, if you remember the leaves basically. So we rotated it. It kind of messed up the normal map. So that's what we fixed basically in there. So red channel is in red, right to left, and green channel is green, like bottom to top for direct text basically. If it's like scanned diagonally, I think in Substance Designer there is a way to fix rotate normal, but it's really difficult to fix if it's diagonal and you make it straight. It's a difficult way. That's why we create scan everything in the straight manner, so it's easy to rotate it 90-degree. But if you're gonna keep it like tilted, it's again another tricky space. It's really difficult to fix that in real. Okay, so now this is basically you have noise on top of the asset. So I'm gonna basically simply subdivide to showcase the thing. And here also we can take vertex color. Is it color info word? Wait, let me see. Object info. Object info have this color in there. Okay. So if I for now I drag and drop into the base color, so it's white because by default vertex color is white. So what you can do, you can come here and you have vertex paint. Weight paint and here's vertex paint. So you have tools and everything you can fill. And what I can do, I can swap with X same, and you have where is the bucket, and you can simply come on, show me what you got. Okay, here we have to take a color attribute we already have. Does it not showcase? It should showcase. Why? Mix senses should usually. And if I take red paint, with if I'm selecting the right object only, right? It's not painting. Is it? Wait, I think there was vertex color attribute. Hmm. So you can select the attribute and let's see. Now it is that. So here you paint and you set vertex color, and you have everything right. Let's get back and make it black and say paint set vertex color, it's black. Okay, and now this we can use as alpha here. So we say, okay, factor is the vertex color, and we go send it here. Now we don't have anything. We swap and make it white. Okay, and then you can simply paint the vertices. Okay, and definitely you can have, you can control the paint. So basically, where we want the dirt, we can simply painting the thing. So, but the dirt is coming from the noise. Okay. Now, in some cases, if I remove this one, I can simply make it dark brownish. So now it totally depends on our vertex paint, like how much we paint. If we paint more, we get more darker. If we get less, less. Okay. So that's basically, fundamentally, you can blend multiple textures in there. Now, one other thing we can add on top of it is we can mix these. For now, you will see how it works. If I just tell you, take the vertex color information from here, and it will be transferring till here. So that's why you see gradient. This one you don't have anything. This have one, so it create a gradient from this vertex to this vertex. Simply put. Now we don't want to see those gradients. Okay, we want to see noise. So that's when we use grunge masks basically. So what grunge mask is basically three different type of grunges or noise textures clubbing into one texture, like RGB have three different noise masks. You can take it from Substance Painter. You have so many grunge masks, right? You can take any of them, export it, and club them together and use it. But like having three different type of details helps basically, and you can make your shader as complex as you want. But even if you want to make a simple one, so you can take a grunge mask or a noise mask or a noise texture or grunge texture, basically whatever you want to call, and then you mix it with the vertex color. If I would take a vertex color and I take this and I'll say overlay, and I will say, okay, I want to overlay. And I hope you know what overlay does. It's basically cut the brighter part from with the bright, cut the darkest part with the dark. So basically, it play with the grayscale zone, not with the fully white, not with the fully dark. It play with that gradient in between. So whenever you have a gradient strip going on, it's gonna make it much more interesting. So I'm gonna put this here. Let me put the fraction more. So now you can play with more detail and put more wisp detail in here. And here. Now you see we have much more organic, and I can make it much smaller. Okay, and if you want to remove something, you can definitely use black. Okay, you see, and from here, you see we have much better. And the same thing goes now. Anything now, so everything have the same shader now. It's free and open to interpretation now. And we just need to make sure it have color attribute. I think it will gonna assign when we're gonna do this thing. It assigned it, and we take the black first and paint set vertex color, so we don't have any, and then we uh, swap it and we don't have anything, so we're gonna do the same thing in Unreal also. Don't worry. So I will explain. I was just explaining you here first. So this is one, which is more standard and most simple, most straightforward way to add details and things in there. With this is Milan with the number one is you use tileable texture with vertex blending. The second one is trim, which I a little bit explained. Like you can use tileable strips with that, okay, and then you can use vertex blending on top. That is also fine. Okay. you're not using that many tile. But imagine you have door basically can have its own, but you have these different strips and one metal and one wooden or one plastic. Basically, you can achieve all the different details in there, and then you can blend it. Now there was I talked about I will talk about trims because we have Edward also, Rodrigo also. So Rodrigo need to see. So we'll import his asset. We'll talk about that in there. Now that's the edge decals basically. Okay. And I don't have this file currently, but if I show you guys on, just give me a second. I will show it on you. Do I have here? Okay, in this, if I open this up, here the damage you see here is edge decal. This one. It's basically a trim of damage, basically, and then it's placed on a L-shaped geometry on top of it. So it helps us figure, like here you see it's not in there, so it's just faking the detail of damage. So if you see here, it's basically a straight face, but if you see from the front of it, it have this damage. I can show you the file also next time maybe. Yeah, have it right now. Okay. So basically, if I so this one is kind of something like that. So how you can create it? If I show you the simply you take this L-shaped geometry, okay, and you sculpt it basically. You sculpt and put the damage. Similarly, we did the rock. You do here, you create some damage thing, and then you place it side by side here, and you bake it basically. You can have bunch of these damages or decals. You bake it in one sheet. I will definitely show you next time in there. And yeah, if we have some time left later on, we will show you manually. I will look for the file and I will show you in there how it looks. Okay, so imagine I can quickly show you here. What I'm going to do is, and we have and I'm going to remove this one. Let me okay, so we have simple symmetry. What I'm going to do is bevel, or let's see, if we take these vertices and we put a vertex group and assign and put 0 in there just to showcase quickly. And if we put displacement now and we use the group, it should act only on the corner, and we make it clouds. Okay, so this is basically okay. So basically we create, like I just quickly try to showcase. So basically it will be straight, but it will look simply damaged basically in the view. So simply you can get some detail like something like that. So it will look like that. Just bear with me. Much more. So now you can bake, and you can sculpt this also. You can bake it and simply use it. And then when it's gonna be placed, when you're next time gonna place it here, so it basically gonna act like that. Link apply, copy it materials. Okay, so like that. So you're gonna have no, just see, okay. It's not big, but you see some shading thing, and we can add weighted knob. See? So this is the sharp edge here, and this is basically something like that. It's like basically trying to mimic in here quickly. Yeah. I'll show you the file so if we have time in the end. Yeah, so this is how basically you can keep the simple you can still do here. You can clear sharp and you can simply put one and then use weighted knobs like that. So you see, like you still have it, but it's straight. But with this, you can get this variation on the edge really quickly. It look more organic and more damage. But like of course, like on the side, this is like this, but it will not be. It will look flat for sure. That you can improve by adding vertices and moving it around. So this is basically the mesh decal, the mesh decal I talked about.